Welcome to the Crypto Trader YouTube channel. This is a free service that provides you with buy and sell alerts for popular cryptocurrencies. And it's managed in a very easy to follow model portfolio. Now I'm starting out small and growing this account live every day at noon Eastern. I publish a new video where you get to see exactly what I've done in my portfolio. All you have to do to start receiving these automatic trade updates every day at noon is just click the subscribe button and then click the notification button right here. Send me all notifications. Now I did one video about our portfolio about a week ago and the entire portfolio was up 60%. We've had a lot of great comments. We've had 23 likes, 3 dislikes. Can't please everybody. But I wanted to update the video because now we're up 80.5%. And let me explain how this model portfolio works so that you can see how easy it is to follow. First, we have the total profit right here. We have the amount of money invested from US dollars into coins originally. Now I plan to add around $1,000 a month so that I can slowly grow this, not just from profits but also from reinvestments. My total return on investment to date from the money invested is 80.5%. We started just about 2 months ago. In 3 days it'll be exactly 2 months. So it's a very nice return. Now over here you can see our holdings per coin. So in Bitcoin we own nothing right now. In XRP, Ripple, we have 748.5. Dash, we own 0.34 coins. In Bitcoin Cash, 0.25. Every trade alert has a doc that writes up exactly what's happened, including a video. Now I'll show you where these web posts go on our website. But again, this is a completely free service delivered every day at noon Eastern. I only do one trade a day, and it's at noon. The second it's published and uploaded to YouTube, YouTube will notify you as long as you've clicked the subscribe button and the notify button. So now in the video what I'd like to do is show you my whole process. How do I get Bitcoins in the first place? Where do I trade them at? And what tools do I use to make decisions? And just real quick, I'll just run through all the columns so you can see. So we have the date entered. If it's green, I've closed the position. If it's white, it's open. I have the Bitcoin ticker and the name of the coin. I have the amount of the coin purchased. I have the open gain or loss. When this trade gets closed out, we move the price in the formula to the sell price versus the last price. So these are automatically getting fed prices from Kraken, which is an exchange, using a special Google Finance app that allows you to automatically fill these prices. And you can fill a lot more data, but for our simple model portfolio, that does the trick. We have the gain loss. We have the gain loss percentage based on the position size. We have the price bought for the coin. We have the current coin price. Oh, this is bought in US dollars, my apology. This is the position size. This is the last price. This is the date sold. And then over here, these are rough notes, not necessarily limit stop losses or profit targets, but just general ideas of where I think this may go and how far away it is, with the difference to stop loss 1 and 2. Now, a lot of time, what I like to do is I put lowball offers for these cryptocurrencies into the market, and they have these crazy flash crashes. Now, what causes these? Probably manipulation. It's probably different traders trying to create havoc in competing cryptocurrencies, and they do this by buying and selling coins very quickly, and then they can rise the price up quickly and then dump it even faster. And this oftentimes will create liquidity shortages that catch a lot of stop losses. A lot of people will trade these with a 20% stop loss sitting out there, and all of a sudden these coins can crash 30 to 50% in just a few hours. And while everybody else is getting stopped out, that's when I like to buy. So you'll see in this video and in future videos, as long as you click the subscribe and notify button, that we are constantly putting out lowball offers into the market to pick up these coins at very low prices. Now, let's start looking at some of the tools, and then we'll go through the mythology of how I go about my trading, how I pick a position size, and what I like to look at on a day-to-day basis. So first of all, I buy coins originally through Coinbase. I like to use a wire transfer to purchase it so I don't have to pay the fees, but you can also use a credit card. This account can take a good week or two just to get it up, get it funded, and then buy your first coin. So I would suggest if you're just getting started with this, your first step should be go to coinbase.com, set up an account, and then decide what method you want to use to purchase it. They have a lot of verification things you have to do to make it a smooth process, so just take your time, go through their whole setup process, and this is the best place to buy coins initially in my mind. It has a ton of funding, hundreds of millions of dollars, lots of users, but I don't like to trade here. So what I do, once I have the coins, so you can see I purchased my first coin for $1,014, and I bought 0.38, which you can see right here. Then what I do is I send it by clicking tools. I can send my money to my Bitcoin wallet at the exchange I trade at. So you can see I sent all of my coins over to my exchange at Poloniex. Now this is one of the top exchanges. It's not the biggest. A lot of the biggest are in Asia. And it doesn't have every single currency pair that you may want to trade, but it does have most of the big ones. And so I primarily only exchange between US dollars. So whenever I make a trade, I will convert US dollars into the coin of preference, and then when I'm ready to sell, I'll sell it back to US dollars. And this makes my accounting really easy, and it makes my model portfolio very easy to follow. Now there will be some cases where there's a coin you want to buy, but you can only exchange Ethereum or Bitcoin for it. As you can see, there's a lot more currency pairs on the Bitcoin exchange than there are on the USD exchange. So when that's the case, what I like to do is first I'll convert US dollars into Bitcoin, and then I'll immediately convert the Bitcoin into the smaller coin that I'm interested in putting a small position on. Now, one problem with Poloniex is they only let you view a 1-month chart, which is almost worthless unless you're like a day trader. And I am not a day trader. I want to trade 5 times a week at noon Eastern, and that's it. And I want to manage a smart long-term portfolio that protects my capital. So if you're that type of investor, I think you're going to really like the process that I go through to do these trades. So the next step for my trading was to find a high-powered trading platform that allows me to connect my exchange but have better tools for trading. And for me, that platform was a company called Coinigy. Now, forgive me, for some reason, this software, I think it has to do with the data feed pulling up the prices every second. Sometimes it'll make a thumping sound, and I'm working with the technical developers with the recording software I use and Coinigy to try to get that removed. We bought a high-end mic. We'll see if that fixes it. Coinigy is a software platform that connects all of your exchanges, and I'm in the process of setting up a second exchange for some of these ICOs that people are getting excited in. But this platform allows you to easily manage all of your exchanges from one platform. It has very good charting where you have lots of options. You can add indicators to the charts. You can see the volume levels, you can scroll around, you can draw, it's really a really nice tool for doing that. It has 2-factor authentication, so again, take your time setting up this account. It's worth it. Once you get it set up, this will make your life really easy. And it has the 2 types of orders we do. A limit order, so if we One popular strategy I like to do is wait for a coin to break into a new high, because oftentimes right after it breaks into the new high you get a big run up, and you can see on almost any coin chart that's a very standard pattern is they go through this period of drawdown, but once they break a new high there's a short-term run up. Whether it's algorithms, just every trader seeing the same pattern, it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy, but you can achieve that by doing a stop limit. So if I wanted to tell my broker to only purchase Bitcoin Cash with, say, a 10% position, I can type in $180, stop limit, and I want to buy it once it hits $9.50. So the stop limit's $9.50. Want to spend $180, and once it breaks $9.50, I'll do a limit order of $9.50, and I can place this buy now, and I can sit back, and if that gets filled, great. If it doesn't, no worries. Whereas if I want to catch a crash, so say I like it, I can see the next big resistance line is down here at $500. So I might say, well, if it crashes to $500, then I want to pick up a 10% position in my portfolio. So in a moment, I'll go through where I've laid out these traps to catch very good prices on Bitcoin. But let's take a break really quick and go look at the number one tool I use to decide position size, which is probably the most important part about protecting your capital and being a smart cryptocurrency trader. Okay, this is a website you're going to definitely want to bookmark, and again, I'm putting all these links down below so that you can get to them and save them, and there's a few more coming up. But you know, trying to be an expert at the programming and technology behind all these different coins is really tough, and I'm trying to gather as much information as I can and slowly start to understand that. But even, you know, my background has been 10 years of teaching people how to trade options or managing different option traders and penny stock pickers and stock pickers, and so I've done this for a long time, and I've seen the problems that consumers and retail investors have trying to trade markets. I've seen them blow out their accounts by putting too much money into the wrong asset, by just being way too risky with their portfolios. And I've learned that it's really hard to beat the big guys in terms of fundamental analysis. They're just so smart that these big companies have so much resources towards research and development that they really have an inside look that's very hard for us to compete with. So what I like to focus on in my trading is what I like to call follow the money. So look, today we can look at the 24-hour volume over the last 24 hours for the top coins. And so Bitcoin, from my time period of doing this, I've never seen Bitcoin not be the number one traded. Normally it's been trading $2 to $3 billion, so this was a light day. It only traded $1.5 billion yesterday. Ethereum at $500 million, that's very low. Monero had a recent wow, it's up 52%. We'll take a look at that. Bitcoin Cash. So all these coins are doing very low volume. Recently we had Ripple, which we bought at a very low, and I'll show you, skyrocketed up to $2 billion a day in volume, and now it's died down. So where did it go? It's, you know, it's not even in the top page. So this sign that big money is willing to support the price of a coin is the number one indicator for me for position size. So coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I will place large positions in. Coins like Dash, Ripple, oh, there's our Ripple. So this was doing $2 billion last week. Now it's only doing $200 million, which we'll talk about in a minute. Coins of this level, Litecoin, Dash, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Monero, Ethereum Classic, Zcash, Neo, all these are 10 to 20% positions. I won't risk more than 10 to 20% of my portfolio in what I would call a medium cap cryptocurrency. It's just not proven. It doesn't have enough money on the line for me to go risk a big percentage of my portfolio. And I know that this seems kind of silly with $1,000 portfolio. Why wouldn't you just go all in on each pick? But I'm trading this like it were $1 million. I'm not treating this as just some kind of play money portfolio. So the goal here is to protect capital, to make smart investments with great purchasing opportunities at great discounts on coins that are proven to have sustainability based on the volume. Now, sure, are there algorithms that are just trading these coins back and forth between their own computers trying to wreck the prices of different coins? Sure, there definitely is. And we've seen this in stocks. We've seen this in the OTC penny stock markets, if you ever traded that. You know, this is a very speculative market. And at the end of the day, you know, what's the point of all this? You know, what is the value of Bitcoin? And at the end of the day, it has to turn into something that stores wealth. At the end of the day, you know, it's not just blockchain. This is money. This is money that we want to be able to go take and spend. So when I evaluate the long-term value of these coins, you know, I ask myself, could this really become a coin that you could use in a normal day life? So a lot of people look at Bitcoin as gold. You know, what backs Bitcoin? And it's this huge, massive network of computers that are able to do the algorithm that calculates the transaction between Bitcoins. And so I'm not sure how familiar you are with all these different algorithms, but the only way Bitcoin is created is by mining it, and the only way mining happens is by people transacting it. So as Bitcoin becomes more popular, it's slowly letting more liquidity of the currency into the market. And so some of these coins do not allow mining. Some of them have a setup where the owners own a huge percentage of it. So there's all these different factors that we have to take into play. But at the end of the day, the number one factor for me is volume. Money talks and bullshit walks. So let's switch gears now and let's look at one more website I like to watch, and then we'll go through the charts as of 8/26. We'll look at all the limit orders I have sitting out there waiting to get filled, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is Reddit CryptoCurrency channel. Of course, there's a million sites. You can get on a chat room for every single coin. Oftentimes you can get into 2 or 3 chat rooms. It's just a lot. It's really a lot for a beginner, at least, to soak in all the information. So I like to get the big news right here. Every day I will read through this and look for big announcements, big changes, technology shifts. You know, and you get a good feel for what the overall community is talking about. And so this is a Reddit channel /CryptoCurrency. And again, this link will be at the bottom of the video, so you can do that. But this is a great source of information, and it will link to lots of other guides. One guide I found through the Reddit channel is mycrypto.guide, which is a huge article all about cryptocurrencies, and it really has a ton of information that you can gather about the big coins, about the different types of blockchain technologies. It's really a great resource for those of you who want to really dig in and understand what's going on. Now, with that said, I'm going to tell you how I trade on a much more technical basis right now. And again, if you haven't yet, click this subscribe button and then click the notification button so you can automatically get my daily trade alert video. Every day I post a video. It has the email portion of it pasted into the description with all the relevant links, and it's all yours free. Right here you can see the videos today. Sometimes they're short and sweet. Sometimes I'll spend a lot of time looking at different articles. Sometimes we're putting on a lot of orders that we have to just sit back and wait to get filled, like we did last Friday with this 30-minute video. So I try to keep it as short as possible, but sometimes there's just a lot of work to do and we got to record it. Okay, so again, I apologize if there's a clicking sound. There's nothing I can do about that. It's just this software, I believe, from the data feed sometimes clicks. So this took me a little while to figure out, but markets is just the exchange. So the exchange we're trading is PLNX. So if you scroll down on this bar right here, you can get to that and click it. Then you get to see your currency pairs. For me, I'm almost always trading in USD currency pairs. Now, if I want to get involved in a less liquid new coin, then I likely have to convert some US dollars into Bitcoin and then convert those into the coin I want to buy. And so you can see those currency pairs for Bitcoin are up above. And there's a lot more of those. And also we'll start getting into some very tiny positions. I'm talking 1% positions in very well-funded ICOs. And so if you've heard about ICOs, that's an initial coin offering. Now there's a new coin offering going every day, and I can tell you that 99% of those, every investor is going to lose every dollar. People have figured out they can raise 10 million bucks with a white paper with no technology, and if they succeed, great, but I can tell you most of the time those just fail. And my experience from trading penny stocks for years and years led me to the conclusion that you got to follow the big money. And so the biggest indicator that something's going to work is some smart guy is putting a ton of money into it. So in another video I'll show you have to have a totally different setup to invest in ICOs. Once they hit the exchanges, there's one exchange that really specializes in all these new coins, so we're setting that up. But this setup with Poloniex is really good for trading the big proven coins, and that's where we want to see at least 90% of our capital at all times. So as you can see, we have, and now that track record does not have the free Bitcoin Cash I received from the fork, so I haven't even put that into the portfolio. That would almost double our profit again, so that was just a nice bonus. But we took a small position during this crash, so my favorite time to buy coins are during big pullbacks. So this pulled back from $920 down to $622, where we put on a position. So let's look at how big that position was. You can see we spent $180 right here, and it's just teetering along. So my expectation is that this could drop to 500, and if that were the case, I would likely get out, expecting that it may drop much farther, or it's going to break past 900. And when it does break past 900, I believe that it won't just do it a little bit, it will break it by, you can see, 5 bars. So this could go up to 1200 quite easily if it's able to break that high, just looking at technical analysis. So what's the fundamental analysis? There's a lot of hype about Bitcoin Cash becoming more profitable than Bitcoin to mine. But every cycle this formula updates, so it's probably going to go back and forth between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash's big deal is that it's supposed to compete with all these Litecoins and different coins that are much faster algorithm to make a transaction, thus much cheaper to make a transaction, thus much more efficient, thus has a better chance of being a common currency used in real life, whereas Bitcoin may act like gold. It's a much more complicated program to transfer a Bitcoin, and it costs a lot more money for miners, and it takes a lot more time. So that's Bitcoin Cash's story, and we have a 10% portfolio position on this one right now. Now Bitcoin is the mother of all coins, and for the time being I don't see anything taking away its glory. So we got into Bitcoin during a crash way over here. It continued to crash well below, saw plenty of drawdown, and was not worried, and then it bounced, and we got out right here. So we got up near the tie, and like I said, usually when you can break a high, it's not time to sell, it's time to ride it until you see a little bit of a pullback. And so it started jumping up and down, and that's when I sold it one morning. So the high got almost to 4,500. We sold at 42 for a 68% profit. And so that was our first trade in the model portfolio. So now I have these limit orders sitting for the next crash. So what's going to happen? Who would not like Bitcoin? Well, I can think of a few people, like all the central bankers. So that's one group of people who may have it in their interest to try and disturb this solid profit. People are just buying Bitcoin, sitting back and making huge returns. And they're starting to lose faith in fiat currencies like the US dollar. So yeah, there's plenty of people who would love to see this Bitcoin crash, and they do it by manipulating the currency, by buying a lot of it, skyrocketing the price up, getting a lot of people to follow it, and then they just sell fast and hard, and everyone with their limit order gets caught out while they're asleep, which further accelerates a crash. And so you can see there's been lots of crashes and lots of volatility in Bitcoin, and there's almost always an opportunity to buy it during these pullbacks as long as you have faith that this will continue. So right now I have a 30% position sitting at the 4,500 level. So if my stop limit of $44,502 is hit, the stop limit's sitting at 4,500. If it reaches that price, then it will enter a limit order for 30% of the portfolio to purchase this at $4,502. The expectation is it's going to skyrocket from there. Now, what if it cannot break that high short term? There's a lot of people who bought it in this odd range right here who are going to be disappointed, and they're going to start seeing drawdown, and their selling could very easily spur a crash into these prices. So we're picking up a 10% position, a 10% position, a 20% position, and another 20% position if it can sell off to these levels. Now, I may increase those positions even more based on what other currencies are doing, but I don't want to lose out on opportunities that we have sitting on Dash, which has just been skyrocketing, just out of control. And you can see, once again, it broke its high, it flies up. It broke its high, it flies up. So everybody's getting attuned to this strategy. We're currently waiting for a massive crash, and we may have to bring these levels up. So this is based on, before this recent move up, that this could potentially crash below this support level right here into this much more. This is a really strong support line, and people have invested at this price who would likely buy more if it got near that price. Whereas this is very speculative trading who are going to get out quick. They're not long-term investors. So I'm very happy to pick it up right above this level because I know the long-term investors for Dash are going to just eat this up the second it gets below 200. And there won't be much of an opportunity to buy it at that low of a price. So we have three 10% positions sitting here, and we will adjust those as this price continues to go up. We may have to move up to the $280 to $300 range to have a chance at getting filled into this coin. Okay, Ethereum Classic. I'm waiting to catch this about $1.50 below. The volume on Ethereum Classic's been a lot lower than it started off with. It's had some big run-ups, and it's having this consolidation volatility right now. So if this were to break past 22, same thing. It's going to go potentially way higher for a very short time. So it's a very quick scalp trade, and we would probably go up to 20 to 30% maximum position on a coin like this. Hopefully, though, it can crash right to here and we pick up a nice cheap 10% position, and we will hold that through a lot of drawdown because I do believe this coin has enough of a cult following that it's not going anywhere. And this was designed as a fallback to a scam that happened in Ethereum where someone stole some $100 million, and rather than punishing those people who invested in that, they just printed more coins, and they never caught who. I believe they got some of it back, but they didn't get all of it back. So anyways, this whole idea that there's no centralized person to just print money, that's the whole thing behind these coins. So a lot of people were furious that they would inflate the currency by just handing out more coins to all the people who lost them. And the way that happened was through a vote. So each of these coins have their own governance where they have voting rights based on ownership of the coin. So they voted to take care of the people who got ripped off. Some people were pissed, and they created Ethereum Classic, which does not have the ability to do that. And so that is what this coin is. Here's Ethereum. Again, we're going to buy it if it breaks a high. It looks like it just really wants to do that. Or we're going to catch it in this support area. Litecoin is on a tear straight up. Not much crashing. Litecoin is just what it sounds like. A very fast transaction that has the opportunity to go mainstream. Investors love it. The average Joe crypto trader community loves it. And right now we're looking for a crash to 32. And this one's not following that exact same pattern. It's kind of just slowly moving up. So I'm waiting for a really good opportunity to get into Dash, and I think that, Litecoin, and I think that in the near future there will be a considerable pullback. Maybe not to 32, but we'll be ready to get in once it does have some kind of scare. This coin has a small liquidity. We have a small 10% position. If it crashes to 7, where we have a lot of support, we can see a lot of buying happen right here at these low prices. So I believe the long-term holders of this coin will support the price at this level. So I'd love to join them at that cheap level and ride it. This is a small 10% portfolio position, and it's sitting there waiting to get filled. Now, if this were to break above 19, then we're looking at another potential run up to 30, and we would chase that as well. But right now I don't have any orders sitting there. One of my subscribers who talks to me every day, or at least most days, he's into this trade right now, and he's up a lot. He has like some $30,000 in it and was doing well. He's with what I told him is that in my portfolio I wouldn't take that much risk on this small of a currency. And so he's been scaling out of that and taking profits. We're sitting here waiting for a crash back to this resistance line to invest in it. However, if this were to break, you know the drill. If it breaks the high, put a small amount of money into it because it's highly risky that it could crash down, but ride it. Scalp that run up for a few days. Stellar, we currently have no trade sitting on it. Monero, this one is just taken off to the horse races from 56 to 140 overnight. We missed out on that. This is a very secretive coin, and it got good news that it might have some real application in the world and start being used by some real companies as a payment system. And it's just skyrocketing on that news. Now, is it really, these coins, are they really that valuable? It's a very speculative, just overall industry. So I'm not buying it. I haven't been chasing it. I regret that. I wish I'd bought a 10% position back when we got into Ripple, which we'll look at next, which we hit a good return on, we'll look at it. It was over 50%, but it was not a 300% return that you could have hit on Monero. Following my strategy, this would have been a great price, but we weren't actively trading this until just a week ago. So we missed the chance. And if we'd had our little stop order sitting here, we could have rid it from 61 with a little drawdown here. Might have got out scared, but if we hadn't, this thing kept running. So that's a great chart. And currently we have a crash ready for 56. If it hits 56, we believe there's people who will support the price. And if not, probably if this can sustain this price range in here, it's probably going to crash soon into this $100 to $120 range. I'll be nervous to buy it there. Down here is a safe bet. Right here in the middle is very risky because all these people can still start taking profits here. There's very few there's this one volume spike right here where someone really believed in it and caused this to skyrocket. But can it hold this kind of price? I highly doubt it. And I think it could crash all the way back down to this range. It just may take some time. So that's our plan for that one. Okay, XRP, I first bought down here. It was below this support line that had caught this crash. So think of a ball falling, it was just losing control, and then somebody's buying it up. They're saying we're not going below this price. Ripple's backed by huge banks, by Google. The gorilla, the average Joe crypto trader hates this currency because the governance of it basically is set up for a few people to get really rich. Supposedly they've signed, their software lets them not sell it for 4 years, so it has to become successful and blah, blah, blah. But something gave it a huge run up. We were able to buy it originally at 15, and then just over the weekend we sold it at 30 for almost a double. And then it crashed, and we repositioned our portfolio. So it went from a 10% position to a value of 18, which is where we sold it. And then I repositioned back to a 10% size here, and currently it's down a little bit. But we do have an order to double down if this gets below 19 cents. So if this just teeters a little lower, we'll actually hit a 20% portfolio position on this currency. And I do like Ripple. I think even though it may not have the best rules set for how it operates for maximum decentralization, it is set up to be a very valuable coin that could actually be used in the mainstream marketplace, that has to be the goal. That is what makes cryptocurrency become a success, is that we can really use it as everyday money. It's not this bizarre wallet coin with a security key that's 500 coins, characters long. It turns into a credit card where you've got your coins on it and you can go swipe it and spend your money. So it has to turn from the speculative penny stock feeling world to a real use in the real world. Okay, Zcash is on a tear. Let me pull that up. I've been studying a lot about mining. And so this one had a big crash and has been on a steady uptrend. This is supposed to be one of the most profitable mining coins. Trades about $10 to $20 million a day, so it's not super liquid. But it's very profitable to mine. And from what I hear is when it has these dramatic run-ups with volume increases, that's when the profitability can really increase. So they're using these NVIDIA 1080 Ti cards that cost about $700, $800 a pop. And they make their money back in like 6 months, and then after that it's pure profit, just sitting there mining these coins. So again, we're waiting for a major crash to buy this. It may not happen right away, but if it does, we're sitting there for these flash crashes that can happen in just a few days. So I'm going to the lake this weekend. I want to be able to catch some good drops and not have to worry about owning too much of some really risky currency. So okay, so that's our getting started video. I do have a website, cryptotraders.tips. If you want to get text messages, if you want to get access to live webinars, if you want to get some trades that won't be in the YouTube channel, which will probably be these super high risk ICO trades or some of these very low liquidity currencies where we put 1 to 5% positions on them, and we're going for big gains. These are the gains where you can make 1,000%, 10,000%, but you have to buy and hold it and sit for them to go hit the exchanges. If you want the email access, the live support, access to me via text message, then you can upgrade here and you'll have a username, password to access mostly the same information you're seeing on YouTube, but a little bit better. You get text messages and you can upgrade right here. Here's the sales page. You can upgrade for $1, which bills $97 a month, or you can upgrade for $497 annually, which is right here. And that helps support my whole operation to deliver this to you every day. So thanks for your time. Please leave a comment below, share the video, like it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel.